Okay, so today we have a 60-inch LG LED TV. The model number of this TV is a 60, L as in Larry, B as in boy, 7100. So a 60LB7100 UT. And the problem that we're having with this TV is that we'll go ahead and plug it in. When I plug it in, the power is going to automatically come on. Hopefully this time. I'm going to plug it in. So then we're going to go ahead and hit the power. It's plugged in. The light is red at the bottom. Probably can't see that on camera, but there's a little red light here. And when you hit the power, it should start flashing. The picture's going to come up. The LG logo. Then we have a snow. I guess it's on already set to channel 3. Yeah, channel 3. So we have snow. And then the picture leaves. Okay. Put my flashlight up to it. I can still see the snow. You can see that on camera or not, but I can still see the snow on the screen. So it lets me know that we have some type of backlight problem. So let's take this bad baby apart and see what the flux is going on. Okay, one thing I want to mention is that when you lay these TVs down to work on them, and like for instance, we have to lay this down so we can take it apart, take the back cover off first, and also the supports. Make sure that you lay it on something flat and cushiony. If all you have is a floor, get some blankets, preferably thicker, okay, and lay the TV face down on the floor. I get people all the time in my comments telling me they lay it on top of the remote. The screwdriver was up under it. You know, I hate to talk about y'all. That's stupid. The screen is so fragile. If I was just to hit the front of the screen like this, I could probably crack it. Okay? So yeah, make sure your area is clear and make sure you have something cushiony, okay, for the whole screen to lay on, at least the size of the screen, or preferably bigger, okay? So we're actually going to check, make sure there's nothing laying down in front, not even a screw, okay? Take it carefully by the ends, not pressing too hard on the screen part. Just kind of like grab the bezel and lay it down gently. That's how you do it, okay? Make sure there's no bologna sandwiches or you know, pack of cigarettes up under the TV when you get ready to lay it down in the space, okay? And you should have no problems. So, first thing we're gonna do is remove our feet. Just 2 screws. Left and right. Keep both feet and the screws together. Let's see, matter of fact, let's see if somebody can get these switched up. No, you cannot get these switched up because there's a hole right here. Okay, so the back cover is only made on that side. The back cover is made for this foot. On this side is made for this foot. Okay, so keep all these and the screws together, please. Basically, just pull all the screws out. I think all these screws are the same, except for the screw here in the jack panel. Where the jacks go, that is obviously a plastic screw, and so I don't need to go any further as far as that's concerned. Just pull all the screws around the outer edge. Screw here, screw on the jack panel, and these have 2 mounting bracket screws for the wall mounts. There should be 4. I don't know what happened to the other ones. Obviously, they're using the stand, so they're not using this anyway. But okay, just to verify the model number of this TV, like I said, it's a 60-inch. So 60 should be our first 2 numbers. And so just people been asking me or been guessing how big the TV is. Always look at the model number. Usually the first 2 numbers will be the size, the inches in diameter of the TV, and that is measured diagonally from the corner to corner. not from side to side, not from top to bottom. People always say, I'm going from side to side, and it's only measuring the 46 inches, but it's supposed to be 60. No, you measure it from this corner to that corner, diagonally, okay? So 60-inch, 60LB7100, and let's see when that was manufactured. That was manufactured in 2014. Okay, so we got some pretty good usage out of this TV, whoever had it. So that's that. And got all the screws out of the back cover. It should come right up. Cover from the sides. Now these metal covers are very sharp on the end, so make sure probably want to use some gloves, and especially down here, so don't just kind of like be grabbing it, because you will cut your hand, trust me. So I'm gonna grab it from the side. Just gonna pull it up. Okay, and that's it. There's usually nothing connected to the back cover of this TV. And I'm gonna set this right here. These are the speakers enclosed in here. We have the main board, the power supply board, okay, and this one I think uses a T-con board underneath. I can't really see, but we'll find that out once we remove these speakers if we need to. We probably won't, yeah, we're gonna have to need to. That's where the driver boards are at. Yes, this is all one piece. So we're definitely gonna have to remove this here. And I don't think I've worked on anything similar to this one. I have worked on some 60-inch LGs, okay, same type of TV seemed like, but yeah, I never did the speaker thing right here and with here, so that's the first thing that I noticed, okay, is get into the driver boards so we can pull the screen out if we need to. But I'm going to check, first thing I'm going to check is the actual LED strips, which are usually on 95% of the TVs located on the power supply board, that red wire is going into the TV. But let's look on the side of the strip, the actual plug for the strips. We're gonna see plus one, LED plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. I don't know, we can definitely figure it out. And this plug right here is also used to test the strip, that big plug right there with the two prongs on it. I'm gonna hold my camera straight. It's drifting off to the side. But those two plugs that are labeled P603 and some other one, I think we're gonna actually check the whole shebang with those. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do first is I'm just gonna stop trying to figure it out and just go ahead and start making some checks. Okay, as I wanna see if we have an LED problem or not. As far as the LED strips are concerned, okay, just want to point out what those two plugs, verified that those two test points are the test point plugs for the actual voltage that's going to light up the LED strips. Okay, so as you can see, one says LED plus and the other one says ground. Okay, so that is LED plus voltage. If you want to verify, let's just say you're not getting no picture on the TV or no backlight at all. Ooh, bless me. You can just verify that you are getting voltage to the LEDs at least, right? So basically, I'm just going to show you on my meter, right? Okay, I'm gonna put my positive on plus, right? Make sure the TV's unplugged while you're doing this, okay? Got the TV unplugged, okay? Meter on DC volts, okay? Plus, the red lead on plus, okay? And my common ground on to ground. DC volts right there, okay? Okay, you don't have to use alligator clips. I just, I shake sometimes, right? So I don't want to be holding the leads on there and then trying to plug it in and look at the meter. So I'm just gonna play it safe and make sure there's no metal exposed or touching the metal of the chassis on your leads, okay? All right, make sure your meter is in DC volts. I'm gonna plug it in. Like I said, it should come on automatically at plug in. And we're at 55, 63, 78. The TV is lit, backlights are on. Backlights, then came back up. 76 volts. All right, then it cuts off. Backlight's cut off, okay? So, could be that we're getting a trigger from the feedback circuit on one of these LED strips. And I'm just gonna unplug, actually gonna plug the whole plug for the strips. There's actually 6 lines. Red, black, red, black, red, black, red, black, 6 set of lines. So anyway, I'm gonna leave that unplugged. I'm gonna try this again. Okay, plug it back in. Meters on DC volts. Just to see what happens when anything different happens. This time it was stuck at 104 volts, okay? Instead of jumping around so now then it went down, okay? So, yeah, there's nothing plugged in, so it's gonna actually trigger the power supply for the LEDs to go back down. That sounds reasonable, okay? So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my strips. Since we got the 6 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to check my first line. And so I'm actually going to go to the first line right here. I'm going to put my positive on positive, negative on negative in the negative hole on the one right next to it, on the black wire. Okay, getting 63 volts to light up that line at approximately 70 milliamps. The next one, I'm going to go down to the next 2, next red one, next black one. Okay, same reading. Okay, and I can actually see the backlights lighting up through the back of the TV. Okay, so that's a plus. I'm going to keep on going down. Line number 3, approximately the same reading, okay? And let's see, I'm gonna go to line 4. Same exact reading, it's not jumping around. You wanna look and make sure that the voltage is not jumping up and down. That means you definitely have a bad or leaky LED. Okay, so voltage is steady at 63 volts. Next line. Line number 5. Oh, hold on, am I doing this right? Okay. Oh, oops, no, I'll skip one. Okay, here we go. Line number 5. That one is reading 73 volts. But it is steady. Okay. All right. Let's go to the last line and make sure that's not reading 73, the same exact reading, because we might have different strips in here on these 2. No, that one is back at the original reading, approximately 63.7 to 0.6 volts, 71 milliamps. Okay, now that tells us that's probably why the TV is staying on for at least a few seconds, is because it's not a big deal, but there is a bad LED which is on the verge of going open, and sometimes even that will trigger the shutdown circuit, okay, on that line, and will cut the LED voltage off. Okay, even something like that, if it's that sensitive. Just for safety purposes, because these strips can catch on fire. I have seen some, so yes, they will catch on fire. But anyway, what I'm going to do, if I really want to double check it and see if something's going down with it, I'm actually going to use my meter. Okay, now I want to plug it up again, right, and do an actual check on the feedback voltage when the TV cuts off, using my meter. Okay, that was another way that you can tell that you have a bad or leaky strip or LED. And the TV actually staying on now. Okay, which might be a good thing, so I can explain this maybe. Okay, now actually I'm gonna go first. My meter's on DC volts. I got my ground on the ground pin on that wire. Okay, on that pin, and hopefully it stays on long enough. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna look to the positive side. Okay, and being careful not to touch or short it out with your hand. All right, and we are at a steady 69 volts. Okay, and that's steady. Okay, so it is staying lit. Maybe I can turn this off so you can see that there actually are backlights. So yeah, you see all on the edges here, they're actual backlights. are lit. Okay. The whole TV. I haven't flipped it around yet, see what the picture looks like, but I'm pretty sure it probably looks okay. Right? Okay, like it did when it came on. But anyway, so let's just say your TV is actually coming on and playing for, 30 seconds or 30 minutes or whatever, then the backlight cuts out, you still got sound. Okay, so what you can do to find out what's going on is check the plug, the lines for your LEDs. Now remember that positive wire is the B plus for the strips. Okay, so all of those should be approximately 69 volts, the same thing that we were getting here, okay, for our B plus, okay. They're ran in like a parallel, I think, circuit, something like that. But the black wire is the feedback voltage. That is what's going to trigger the LED into shutdown, or the power supply into shutdown, or make sure that it's running because it's steady. So anyway, so basically the feedback voltage on the black wire is just the wire, it's just the voltage drop across each LED. For instance, in one strip, we have 10 50-volt LEDs. I'm sorry, 10 5-volt LEDs. Okay, so in order to light the strip up, we need approximately 50 volts and light the entire strip up, okay, to the full potential. Depends on, of course, the current that it uses, but usually about 50 volts at approximately less than 100 milliamps, right? So what's going to happen is that instead of sending the 50 to there, okay, through the strip, it's going to send 60 maybe, or 55. Okay, that way after you get that 5 volt voltage drop across each LED, remember you got 10 LEDs, you're going to have 5 volts left. Okay, and that's the feedback voltage. That's what going to the feedback circuit in order to make sure the LEDs are, the feedback circuit is helping the LEDs run, keep them on. If the voltage is too high, say for instance we have an open LED, on that LED with 10 strips, it's going to go to 0. Okay, so the feedback circuit says, hey, wait a minute, it's supposed to have 5 volts here left over, it's at 0. Or for instance, you got a bunch of shorter LEDs on there, okay, then it's going to actually be lower. Okay, it's going to be closer to, say we have a short LED, we got one LED missing, so it's going to be like maybe 45 volts instead of the 55 supposed to be there, and it's going to shut down also. Okay, so I know it sounds kind of confusing, but let's check this out. TV is still running, so I'm going to go to my first black wire, which is the LED minus, or the LED minus or the feedback wire, and check the meters on DC voltage. I still got it grounded right here at my plug. Put some dangerous stuff here, keep that away from that main board, okay, while the TV's on. And I'm gonna go to my first positive plug. And of course that's gonna be 69 volts, right? Okay, I'll go to another positive plug, the red plug, 69 volts. Now the first feedback for the first strip or line, that's the black wire, it's jumping around between, which is probably normal, around 1 volt, okay? The second line, right next to it, which is also checking good, oops, I'm sorry, second feedback line, the black wire, okay? I got my lead in the black wire, and that's approximately the same thing, okay? I'll go to the next line, next black wire for the next line, and come on, stay in there. It's approximately the same, it's a little slower. Seems like it's more, yeah, it's approximately the same by 1 volt, okay, at the end. All right, hopefully you guys can see my meter. Okay, and then we'll go to the bad one. So they're all about 1 volt, 1.3 volts. We'll go to that bad one. And that's actually almost double the feedback voltage. So even though it's playing, we definitely know that there's a problem, that there may be a problem with the TV cutting off, is that we have a leaky LED strip, okay? Or one leaky LED on an LED strip, okay? So the strip doesn't have to necessarily be open in order for the TV to shut down or not come, or for the backlight not to come on at all, okay? You could have a leaky one. And as you can see, that is the only line that is reading that high on the feedback voltage. I'm gonna go to the next one, the black wire. On the last one, it should be at 1 volt. Yep, same thing. So that definitely is a problem here. While the TV is probably cutting off after it plays. So it's probably just the one leaky LED, which is a good sign that we can actually just replace that one LED. We might be on the safe side. But I did order these strips. Everything else seems to be working just fine. So I'm pretty sure once we replace that LED or LEDs or whatever I feel like doing, we're going to be good to go. Okay.